Hello everyone. Today I want to bring to your attention another important issue which you may not be aware of. It is particularly relevant at this time because of a major vote which is scheduled to take place between May the 27th to the 1st of June next, literally in the next few days, in Geneva, Switzerland. This concerns the attempts by the WHO and indeed other interested parties to seek agreement from each of the 194 member states of the WHO, which of course includes Ireland, to vote on acceptance of the two documents that, when taken together, are intended to transform international public health and the way states interact when the Director General of the WHO declares an emergency. These drafts, a pandemic agreement and amendments to the international health regulations together, are intended to be legally binding and govern the relationship between states and the WHO. So why is this happening and why is it important for you? It's happening because powerful globalist interests, mainly in the pharmaceutical sector, who effectively control the WHO, want to consolidate their power base by ensuring a continuation of the vaccine-dominated health and business model launched during the WHO-declared COVID pandemic, which was such a bonanza financially for the pharmaceutical companies. The effect of each member state signing up to these agreements will give enormous power, in particular to one man. His name is Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, who is the appointed Director General of this organization, the WHO. This man is not a medical doctor and stands accused in his role in systematic genocidal violence and gross human rights violations during his time as Minister for Health and Minister for Foreign Affairs in Ethiopia, his home country. He was also the subject matter of a complaint to the International Criminal Court. Yes, this is the man to whom these proposed agreements seek to give enormous power to declare pandemics essentially on a whim, which in turn will trigger significant events, including lockdowns and other coercive measures globally, to comply with the stated objectives of these treaties and the powers that oversee and enforce them. Our own government have entertained this man and his representatives on numerous occasions when they visited Ireland. And our government have already signalled their intention on our behalf to sign up to these treaties and agreements. They have also done so without any information being provided to the people or any advices from the Attorney General on the constitutional implications, notwithstanding the fact that Deputy Mattie McGrath was so informed that such advices would be sought, and that was as far back as 2022. We are now in 2024. Nor has this government enabled any public or Oireachtas debate on the issue. There is a growing issue of concern regarding the fact that the WHO, in seeking to have these agreements copper-fastened by June the 1st, are intending to do so in breach of their own legal obligations pursuant to these agreements. In particular, I refer to Article 55 of the International Health Regulations, which determines that agreement can only be reached when a final agreed text has been made available for all member states for consideration at least 4 months prior to any agreement. This means that all member states should have had available to them the final text of this proposed agreement or treaty, including the regulations, by January the 27th last, in order to fulfil the WHO's own legal obligations under its own existing agreement by which it is bound. They are, however, seeking to ignore this important factor and are intending to push ahead by June the 1st, notwithstanding, even though as of today there is no final text agreed. The purpose of Article 55 and Paragraph 2 in particular is to give all states parties to the international health regulations an ample opportunity to thoroughly assess the domestic, legal, institutional, political and financial implications for any proposed amendments, as well as their compatibility with states other obligations under international law. There are very many independent doctors, scientists, lawyers and others all over the world who are not only deeply concerned about the activities and intended activities of this organisation, but who are seeking to highlight and expose the serious situation and the intention of the WHO to breach the terms of the agreements to which it is bound by ignoring this crucially important requirement. I am one of them. A motion with majority support has already been passed by the Parliament of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, requesting a postponement of the vote. It is imperative that an urgent motion be tabled in the Oireachtas to demand that Ireland follows the lead of the Dutch government in requesting a postponement on the vote on the WHO Pandemic Treaty and the International Health Amendments. In addition, the WHO Pandemic Treaty or Agreement should not be laid before both houses of the Oireachtas until a COVID-19 investigative inquiry is concluded and the constitutional ramifications of these monumental international agreements are fully debated. In particular, it is essential that a proper COVID inquiry be conducted into the interrelation between the WHO and our government in terms of national legislation and/or policies implemented during the COVID-19 declared pandemic, in order to ascertain how the proposed WHO Pandemic Treaty and amendments to the international health regulations will impact Ireland's response to declared pandemics going forward in the future. Do you really think it is appropriate that an organisation that not only has not carried out any investigation into the origins of COVID and how or why this alleged virus became so influential in our lives should now be empowered not only to declare all future and further pandemics, but will have the power to govern and determine all measures to be taken in that consequence? In addition, another significant aspect of the treaty and the regulations is to transfer sovereignty of nation states to the WHO under the guise of One World Health. So guess what is happening this week in Killarney, County Kerry? A major global economic summit, and the keynote speaker is none other than the Director General himself, Tedros Ghebreyesus. He may not be there in person, but will appear virtually if not. Consequently, this is why I am highlighting this serious issue. Our politicians must insist on a delay to any attempt to move forward with any proposed agreements, treaties or resolutions by or on behalf of this organisation. If they do not, then they themselves are complicit in enabling an illegal action on the part of this organisation. In addition, they will once again reveal to the Irish people that they are not looking after their interests and are willing to be a lame duck parliament with government officials making all the important decisions on behalf of the people. Decisions which will have profound effects for all of us in the future. So once again, I ask you please to write to your elected representatives and insist that they take action to ensure that this vote does not proceed and that the rule of law is upheld. We consistently hear them talk about the rule of law and complying with our international obligations. Now is an opportunity for them to actually show that they mean what they say. These agreements once again will cede our sovereignty as a nation to an unelected, unaccountable organisation that has diplomatic immunity for all its activities. An excellent legal template letter is in the description box below, so you just send it to all of your local representatives, TDs and senators and indeed councillors. So once again, time is of the essence. This agreement must not be signed. The WHO and the member states, including Ireland, must extend the deadline for the adoption of these amendments under a new pandemic agreement or treaty to safeguard the rule of law and equity. If any representative of the Irish government attempts to do otherwise, it is signalling to the world that the rule of law does not exist in Ireland. We must follow the lead of the Dutch Parliament. Thank you very much for your attention. Until next time, God bless.